Alright, I wanted to do something a little bit different than the types of videos that I usually do, and this is kind of going back to my roots of SharePoint, and uh, kind of came about as a result of a question on a Facebook group for SharePoint Online uh, designers, developers, whatever, um, where someone asked how to make a sort of a YouTube-like gallery videos in a SharePoint site, and there's actually a pretty easy way to do it. So this should be a pretty quick video. So the site I'm working with here is the internal Office 365 training site in our organization, and I've curate most of the materials on this site myself. And one of those that we have is under course materials. Here I have files and recordings, and this is just a document library where we upload recordings of our workshops as well as recordings of tips and tricks and those kinds of things. So you see I have a couple new ones there, but I've got a bunch of stuff in here from long ago. So what I want to do is build a page that will let people sort of show them a list of the videos on the left hand side and have a viewer for that file or that video on the right hand side. So how can I do that? First off, I need to go back home. You can do this from home or site contents, but home is a little bit easier. And click on new and then select page. And this will let you create a new page. I'll select the blank template because I want to create everything from scratch here. So I'll create a page and I will call this video browser. And I'll just get rid of set that to plain to get rid of the background image. And get rid of my byline there. And then in the main part of the page here, why there's this big gap, I'm not really sure. That's just kind of weird. One of the things that I like to do when creating a new page is once I've set a name, I hit save as draft just to kind of lock in that name so that I know that it's saved, and then edit it again. And then in this case, it kind of gets rid of that big empty space we had there, and also make sure that the page, the file name for that page is what I want it to be. Alright, so now what I want to do is we're just going to have one section here, but we're going to use, click edit section, and I'm going to use the 1/3 left, because what I want is kind of the list of videos on the left and the player on the right. Now, if you wanted the list of videos on the right and the player on the left, you could do the 1/3 right. Or if you just wanted to kind of, maybe that list of videos, you wanted to have columns there where they could filter by the type of video, by who authored it, whatever other columns you want to include in that view, you might want to do it as two full width columns. So I'll leave that up to you. But I'm going to set this as 1/3 left. And then we're just going to get rid of this text web part that's thrown in there to begin with. And first thing I'm going to add is a document library web part. There we go. And I want that to show our recordings library. Now, this is, it's bringing in the default all documents view, which has a bunch of columns. And I don't need all of those columns. So what I'm going to do is, or what I've already done, is created a new view called simple view, which just has the name, because that's all I really want. So I'll just select simple view, click, and then I'll also hide the command bar and hide the see all button. Actually, I'll leave the see all button because people might want to find a recording that's not there. And the last thing I'm going to do is just expand this out because some of those video names are kind of long, and I want to be sure that people can read the full name. Alright, so that is our recordings library. And what I'm going to do is just change the name to select a recording to view. And then I'll close this. And then on our right hand side here, in the 2/3 section, 2/3 side of that section, I'm going to add a file viewer web part. And this is the part that catches a lot of people, because when you choose that file viewer web part, it immediately takes you to this dialog where it wants you to select a file. The problem is that I want this to be dynamic. So I could select the file here, but then every time someone wants to view, I want to show someone a different video, I'd have to change that. So what you want to do is just hit cancel to get out of that dialog, and then click the pencil here to edit this file viewer web part, and hit the three dots up in the top here. So again, if you want to add a specific file, you would add that file, but if you want to connect to this file viewer dynamically, which is our goal here, we need to go to more options and connect to source. So this is basically going to look for another web part on the page, and it's going to connect to that and show that item, that file, in this viewer. So in this case we're doing videos, but you could also use this for creating a browser to view PDF files or PowerPoint files, or whatever the files might be. Video just is kind of a natural fit for this, but you could use it for any kind of file type you want. And once you've set that connection, you can close out of this, and I can save this as a draft just to see how it's going to work. Now, one of the things I don't love about this is that it kind of because the name of some of those files is kind of long, so I don't like having the scroll bars in here. I haven't found a good way around that. I'm sure there is, but it's, could be problematic. It's just not great looking, but that's up to you. If you set this to show something shorter, so if I were to edit the page and edit that web part and told it to show a small number, then it's going to show, well, it's still showing all of them, so it's a little confusing. But anyway, we'll just set to auto size, see if that helps. Let me save the draft. All right, so now when people come to the page, they'll see select a recording to view on the left hand side, and in the file viewer it says this web part is connected to select a recording to view. Select an item in the select recording. So you might want to think about how you name that, because it's going to use that name over and over, and in my case it became a little redundant. So maybe just leave it called recordings. But the point is, all I need to do is select a file there, select one of those recordings, and that will then appear in the right hand side. Now if I zoom out a little bit, we'll be able to see the whole thing, so then they can view this. Now the downside of this is that it's actually no, if you had captions, they would still be able to view the captions. I was going to say some of the options, some of the features of the stream player may not be available, but they actually are, because it's still using that stream player. So if you want to generate those captions anyway, but basically if captions were enabled, they would see the little CC button down there and they can view the captions. So there you go. That is basically how to build a video browser or file browser. As I said, this isn't just for video. You could use this file viewer, or can be used with any of the Office document types, as well as PDF, video. I don't know about audio. I haven't tried it with audio. Might work, might not. Not really sure. But almost any other file that can be viewed in the file viewer, or any file that can be viewed in the file viewer web part, would work in this scenario. So there you go. That is it for today. Hopefully this helps someone who's trying to build something like this in their SharePoint site. And if it does, leave me a like and let me know below. Thanks. Have a great day.